Good morning, everybody. I'm Mike with the DWI. On this episode, Brad and I discuss paparazzi and being in the limelight and how we feel about it. Plus, we talk a little bit about how people are shitty in general and how people need to do better in a couple different instances. I hope you enjoy this episode and remember to like and subscribe to the podcast and enjoy.
Hey, good morning, fuckers, and welcome to another edition of the Daily BM. I have Mike with me. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back, and thank you for listening.
Mike is building logos. Logos for his amigos.
No, I'm not building logos. I'm just moving shit. I was just moving shit around.
Moving shit around.
And obviously, you're going to call me out.
Yeah, I'm going to call you out because your eyes are dropped. You're normally looking right at the camera.
No,
but anyway, so that being said, speaking of people that didn't like looking directly at the camera, did you see Justin Timberlake was arrested for a DWI?
Yeah, I did. How could I miss it? It was on our social feed along with everybody else's social feeds,
including ours. I capitalized.
Yeah,
I capitalized on a meme right away. I was like, you know what? His license went bye. But
there's already a guy out there selling shirts.
Are you serious? Selling?
No,
that's
I'm
a little
serious.
extreme. I mean, I don't mind poking fun. I mean, because hell, I mean, we've all. Hey, man, I've got mug shots. You know, thank God they're not there anymore. They've lost enough time has passed where they're no longer there. But I'm sure if you do some hunting, you'll find them. But you know, have you ever sat back before we talk about Justin Timberlake and have a little conversation about it? Have you ever sat back and just like went and searched your local jails and prisons for like friends and people you may know that have their mug
No,
shot?
I actually haven't. That's actually
have you never done that?
Idea.
Oh, it's the
I haven't.
best, man. If you've never done it, it is the absolute most hilarious thing you will ever do. Just start naming people that you know you got in trouble and just start looking up their prison photos and their jail photos. Dude.
Oh my God.
Their facial expressions are priceless. I had a guy that I knew. He had like 5 mugshots. And each one of them had a different expression. And I was literally going to make them into a rotating GIF and send it to him where it'd be like, where it'd be like this.
Yeah. Did he start to look worse? Like, how you see the progression of people over the years of mugshots, like how they start just looking worse and worse and worse and worse? Or
I'm no longer friends with him. I like literally cut him out of my life, but I will tell you this:
stupid.
He looked worse. No, that was smart. Trust me, the guy's an asshole. But
no, I'm just kidding because you don't have the content now.
Oh no, yes I do. I just won't mention his name. So the reality is he looked like in one of his photos he bleached his hair like almost yellow. He looked like Eminem.
Really?
He looked like Eminem, dude. It was freaking hilarious. I was just like,
oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah, this guy's a major douchebag, and everybody in this town knows he's a douche. So. He doesn't really have very many friends anymore. Hard to work with, pain in the ass. Anyway, that being said, poor fella, he'll end up in jail again. That's just the way he is.
He probably already is. Have you checked up on him lately?
He's not. I spoke to somebody that knows him, and
I got
very well. Actually, their family member, and they said that no, he's still a piece of shit. So, that being said, but let me ask you something. How do you feel about like people when they go to the internet with the stuff? I mean, I know I went to it last night and I just made a funny meme, his license went bye and just took his mugshot and threw it into a meme real quick. But I mean, how do you feel about paparazzi and everything? Tell me about how you feel about it.
I don't know. I hate paparazzi. I think they should die. I think that I think paparazzi should not be classified as people.
Okay. Why?
I think that you should be allowed to take them out. Like, I think that it's like if you see one, you should be able to just kill them on the spot. Like a flea.
You should be able to shoot a paparazzi. Nobody would want to be a paparazzi.
If they're pointing a camera at you, and they're like, up in your face, I think you should have full license to just terminate their existence because they're not actually human beings. They're just giant pieces of shit that should die instantly.
See, I don't have a problem with the paparazzi as long as they're not in your personal space or in your face and catcalling you out and all that shit that they do to try to get them to turn around and look and all that stuff. If you're just
you like the ones that are like across the street shooting into the camera to get the girls nude so that way they can post it up online and make money. That's the one that you like, huh?
What's wrong with that? No, I'm just kidding. and that's the story of my life. No, but can't ever get a date. I'm always the last one. But no, I just meant like, they don't have any. They have no taste. It's like they're getting in people's faces.
They're garbage people
when they're coming out of like restaurants and doing shit. You know what I mean? But I will say, some people take to the internet and go a little crazy with the whole Justin Timberlake thing. I don't know, man. When you put yourself in the public eye, then you're basically, you're gonna be that. You're gonna get that paparazzi once you get famous, and you're gonna get to that level. Only
because we allow it as a society.
As a society, correct. But also, the guy got a DWI. Let's face it. He has money. He's not going to serve any jail time. He's a first-time offender, I believe, maybe. So he's not going to serve any jail time. You can, we've all done it. I've made the mistake. I've drank many a times and drove behind the wheel of a car when I shouldn't have. I'll admit that, plain on the air. I mean, I just have. I don't do it anymore, but I used to back in my day. And you know what?
Mr. Garrett, please step out of the house.
Yeah, I have played craps many a times. I've played craps many a times, and like a dumbass being in my youth, in the younger years, and made that mistake. But you know what? We're all human beings. We make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have a problem so much with people posting up memes and stuff like that of his mugshots. I think you do, right? Because I don't.
I have a problem with it, yeah. Because I think that it's just like, how does it serve the greater good?
Well, I don't think it, like I said before, I think when you're in the spotlight and you're a star, of course it comes out to the forefront. Yes, he's a human being. Yes, he made a mistake.
So here's the thing.
But you're going to be the glut for punishment.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, I wouldn't want a star's life because you have to sacrifice so much to get there and to be famous. I mean, you have to give up your entire right to privacy. It's almost impossible for you to go anywhere and do anything in the general public without being mobbed by people. And cameras in your face, like the whole 9 yards. So it's.
Well, CEOs of major corporations get the same thing, though. I mean, so what? They don't become a CEO in a major corporation because they're afraid of the stardom and the fame. I mean, you got Mark Zuckerberg, you got the guy. I don't even know the guy's name at fucking Apple. I always forget. Yeah, only one I knew was Steve Jobs.
Tim Cook.
Thank you, Jesus.
But they have a little bit. Yeah, but because they're in the spotlight as well. I mean, that's different. But there's so many CEOs of big corporations out there that you don't know. Like, who's the CEO of Kubota? Do you think he gets attacked when he goes out?
No,
nobody knows him.
Sachs, yes, things like that.
Yeah, the only reason those guys get, only reason Elon Musk gets the attention that he does when he's out in public is because he puts himself out there to that level. You know what I mean?
Yes, I agree with that because, SpaceX and Twitter and the purchasing of Twitter, Tesla.
I don't know, man. It's wild. It's like you see these like actresses plastered all over those stupid magazines that you see in the grocery stores, and for gaining like a pound or looking a little bit of fat, or and they make up wild stories based off of like hunches and stuff like that to get readers in, and that I don't know, man. I don't know what that would do to people's psyches. I mean, I can't imagine, like, how do you say sane and living a life like that? I mean, a lot of them don't. I mean, that's why they're addicted to drugs and they have all sorts of issues because you get in a downward spiral. I mean, the thing is like, you get like in Justin Timberlake's place, I think a lot of people are going to like him and stuff like that, but I think he's going to get some backlash for some of the moms and stuff like that, for the kids and things of that nature, because they're going to ride him, because that's what people do. Like, they jump on a bandwagon and they go nuts.
See, I think
that's just my opinion, but
I think it's important for him to come out. And again, I mean, he doesn't have to, in my eyes. I mean, he can do whatever he wants. He's a grown man, and he just made a mistake. That's the way I look at it.
No, but he's going to have to make a public apology. But
he's going to have to make a public apology because he is famous. The mad people or whatever, and Mothers Against Drunk Drivers is going to have they're obviously going to say something. Mm-hmm. And depending on how he approaches it with his PR, it depends on the reaction he's going to get. If he comes out like, who was the guy that did a half-ass, what's the guy's name? Not P. Diddy. Was it Sean Combs that slammed that girl to the ground? Who was it?
I think so. I think it was Sean Combs.
But he came out and had a half-ass apology. Yeah. I mean, it looked so unsincere. I mean, it didn't look like sincere. So, of course, he's going to get a ton of heat, I feel like Justin Timberlake will come out and I he made a mistake. That's the way
he should be fine. But I mean, he should be fine. I mean, obviously he's an extreme, but I'm just saying that like it's like they can't. It's one thing to like fuck up, and have a bad day. Then it's a whole other thing for it to be all over the world instantaneously.
Mm-hmm.
Because now they're going to be like, okay, why did he have too many drinks? Like, what was the reason behind this? Because he's never done this before, or him and his woman having problems. Is he having all these issues? Like, what's going on? Does he have diseases? Does he have sickness? And people are just going to be digging and digging and digging. And it's like, wow, do we need that level of public scrutiny on everything?
It's so weird because in some ways I agree with you, and in some ways I just don't. And I
feel like it also takes away from the characters that these people portray. I mean, Justin Timberlake's not a TV star, but he does have a persona. And
correct.
The more that it's, for instance, like if you see, I'm trying to think of somebody, but I'm just like drawing a blank. But you see somebody in a role, and then they're completely different in real life. It completely ruins the character, in my opinion, and it takes away from the mystery of Hollywood. I mean, if you look at the people back in the day before the whole paparazzi thing took off, like, the movie stars were like, you looked up to them, but they had normal lives because they weren't being chased everywhere,
Right.
I mean, these people can't even go to a regular restaurant without having to buy out the entire restaurant because nobody will leave them the fuck alone.
Or go to a theme park even, without having
go to a theme
20
park. They have to rent out the whole theme
guards.
Park.
Yeah, they got to rent out the whole theme park or have 20 guards surrounding them, and that draws even more attention because the people are wondering why there's this big bubble around this one individual or their family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it draws
Or they
attention.
have to change their appearance so much that they don't look anything like they do on the TV. So when they're out in public, they just look like homeless people. I've seen some of the male actors do that. Like they grow their beards out and they have their hair shaggy and they wear crappy clothes just so that way they can go out in public and not be recognized.
Right.
So that because I mean, I've seen it one time where like Keanu Reeves is like one of the nicest guys on the planet, but I've seen the paparazzi and just push him over the edge too.
Yeah,
because they just wouldn't leave him alone.
You're listening to the Daily BM.
Yeah, I mean, you are human beings. You know what I mean? So they need to back the fuck off. I agree, but
no, they need to be shot on sight.
You can't
I'm serious, dude.
I think on sight, man.
Yeah, I think they should be shot on sight.
What you think and what will happen are two different things. They're not going to shoot. You can't shoot somebody on sight. Now, I will say.
No, I know you can't. I'm just saying what I think should happen.
I think the paparazzi should be fined. That's what I think.
No.
Fine, hit them in the wallet, or even But you see, the problem isn't necessarily the people shooting the cameras. It's the people that pay them for those photos.
Right.
They're the ones like paying them to do that kind of shit. So if they stop, but then they wouldn't get that exclusive shot. They wouldn't get that picture where people buy. So where does it start in your mind? Where does it start altogether?
Us, like, with the consumers, we don't buy the product and then we'll get a demand for it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I don't know much of that shit going on because I don't pay attention to it because I'm not giving them the clickbait.
Well, I
refuse to give them the clickbait.
I don't buy anything in the freaking grocery line. I don't buy those magazines. I don't even pick them up. I don't even look at them. I purposely don't even look at them because I just don't even want to contribute to that. Because most of it's just trash journalism anyway. I don't even know if you can call it journalism.
No, it's not journalism. It's just garbage.
It's just garbage. It's just word vomit.
It's just filth.
It's just word vomit. That's the best way to put it. Let me just spew out some bullshit that I overheard and say this is probably gossip, but but
yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, when it comes to like DWIs and everything like that, I mean, and like you said, you brought up the whole Joey Swole thing. We didn't talk about it on this one. We talked about it off the show. So you want to bring everybody up to speed? Let's bring that up. So like this guy went after a guy with RVs that was working for an RV store that made fun of somebody in the gym.
He didn't go after him.
Well, he didn't go after him. He just called him out. He just called him out, and then everybody else went after him.
Yeah.
And then he lost his job. I think there's a fine line.
His gym membership. He lost his job. I don't know what else he lost.
So how is that any better than the paparazzi?
It's not.
So I mean,
but don't get me wrong. It goes to show you that it to me it's not better, but it reinforces the law of the land and the law of nature. Like there's always a bigger bully out there. So you just need to be careful, like what you do and what you say, because it could turn around and bite you in the ass. You know what I mean? Like the girl that he made fun of because she was a little person, you know, she could have had a really bad day. She could have gone home and committed suicide, seeing that reel blowing up, you know, and people making fun of her and like saying all sorts of mean shit. She could commit suicide. It could have ended her life, you know. And then what do we say? Oh, sorry, there's a lesson to be learned here. But no, actually, what happened was is she probably didn't see it, but somebody else bigger than this dude saw it, and they fucked up his whole world. And I feel like it's, you know, yeah, it sucks for him. But if he wouldn't have made the video and put it out there trying to be funny, picking on somebody else, trying to make somebody else's day shitty, then somebody else would have come along and made his day shitty.
Picking on people that aren't okay. So all right, let me back up. So picking on people that aren't in the limelight versus people that are in the limelight. Is there a difference between the two?
At all. I don't think you should pick on anybody at all.
So you've never made fun of anybody that's in famous, or not, or even not famous.
I've never done it. I've never done it for profit, and I've never done it on social media like that I can think
Correct.
of. Like I've never gone out of my way to like.
I don't film people in the gym and stuff because, you know, honestly, I actually defended somebody the other day. I meant to tell you about this on TikTok. This chubby guy. I mean, he wasn't chubby. He was big. He was pretty damn big. But he's in there fucking working his ass off, dude. Like literally working his ass off. And the comments, man, people just being dicks. I mean, huge dicks about, you know, this, that, or the other. You know, it ain't working for him. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck are you in the? You're not in the gym, asshole. And if you are, why would you do that? Why would you discourage somebody that's in there, you know, working their ass off, trying to get that weight off? You know what I mean?
Because you're just a garbage. You're just I like to call a garbage person.
Yeah, you're just a huge dick.
You're just a garbage person.
Now, do you and I send stuff to each other privately in messages and stuff like that for fun? Of course we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm not. But see, we're not
slamming people.
We're not the creators. I'm just passing something on.
We're just passing something.
But I'm not passing it on in public where people can see it, and I'm not calling it out. And I've actually started curtailing that a lot because I don't want to have the algorithm continually feed that stuff to me. You know, like because I don't think it's right. And a lot of the stuff that I like, you know, like to send is even like it's more humor. Dark humor and generalized as opposed to attacking a specific person.
Yeah, I don't like that attacking individuals at all.
Yeah, and I do think there's also a fine line between you know, being informative and people being sensitive. And the reason I say that is I was watching this Instagram. There's this guy that I follow that he usually does like a lot of videos about food and stuff like that, like different calories and stuff like that. And one of his followers did a post on this girl. She was an overweight girl at Walt Disney eating at the theme park. And he goes, and it was one of those overlays. She's like, what I eat in a day at Disney on vacation. And he's like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to count up the calories and the cost of what she ate and, you know, how many calories it was. And it ended up being like, you know, 500 or 5,000 calories, a little over 5,000 calories, but it was $120 worth of food. Okay. And it wasn't that much. So, they slammed him. The guy slammed him. This creator slammed him, saying it didn't pass the vibe test and was cringy because, like, you know, there was a skinny person on there, you wouldn't have done this video. But he never dogged her out. He never said anything about it. He simply just tallied everything up and posted it. And it was like, you know, this is how much she spent and this is how many calories it was. And I posted on his thing and nobody said nothing. That says, because they were all on there like, he's fat shaming, you know, blah, 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 blah. They're all bitching and moaning. Of course, there's a whole bunch of fat people that were bitching and moaning. Fat women that were bitching and moaning. Let me be more specific about how he was fat shaming her. But the guy never once said anything derogatory about it. It was simply a tallying. It was how you wanted to interpret the information, you know? So I posted, I was like, listen, I found it very informative because number one, I was shocked at the amount of money that was spent for the low number of meals because it was only like 4 meals. It was like a slice of the pizza, which was like 1,000 calories. It was like this gumbo soup, you know, that looked like a small little container that was like 500 calories. It was a falafel, you know, nothing crazy. I mean, it's a vacation. Like you should be able to go on a vacation. I was shocked though, you know, how much it all added up to be. And it was good informative because it's like, oh shit, okay, I didn't realize it was that much, It's like, that's kind of cool. This guy put this out there. And I was like, because they were going like, well, he didn't take into fact that she walked 20,000 steps, but that wasn't what the video was about. It wasn't like how many calories did she burn and ingest and how much weight gain. No, it was simply a tally. And it pissed me off because I was like, why do we have to be so fucking sensitive, And then like the comment section on this social media shit is hilarious.
Yeah,
I literally think it's like just the people that sit around and have nothing to do with their lives comment all day on this shit. And it's just like, wow, could you imagine how much better society would be if people actually, got up and did something as opposed to sat around and just bitched all day?
You think? They would totally.
Yeah. And then, since we're on that topic, I know it's a little bit thing, but it's training. I think this whole body positive thing is horrible for society.
Why is that?
It's one thing to be, not be mean to people and shame them if they're overweight, but it's a whole nother problem when you idealize it and say that this is okay. And that's where I'm having the biggest issue with it, because it's going to cause a medical pandemic if we all are so obese that we can't function as normal people. And the only people that are going to come out ahead is the pharmaceutical companies, because they're the ones that are going to have to pay. We're going to have to pay these pharmaceutical companies for all this medication because our bodies are so out of whack that they can't regulate anything. So of course they're all super happy with all these overweight people being normalized and, bad diets and bad health habits and everything else, because it's great for them. And I just have a huge problem with it. Like, I don't think that should be like the thing that we focus on in the ideal. Now, I don't think we should body shame people, and I think that there's different ideals of like, strength and, size and stuff like that. So, I mean, and there's somebody out there for everybody, and people find different things beautiful. So it's not an issue, but I think as a society, it's like we shouldn't just be like okay with it. Does that make sense? Because it doesn't set a good standard. Like, there was a recent beauty pageant with a lady that won. She was like overweight and looked totally different. And then what the standard was. And I think the standard got out of control. Like, I think it got way too small and way too skinny and way too like anorexic looking. Mm-hmm. So there needs to be some regulation in there. Like, smaller's not better either. Like, it's the, having real thin people with no muscle mass. But I think that we should try to figure out what is ideal. And I think it should be body fat percent, and be like, hey, listen, this is normal range, like 25%. And that should be great. But when you're up in the 50, 60, 70% body fat range, that's horrible. Like, that's not okay. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm right there with you on this one. I can't disagree. I mean, you said everything that I would have said, honestly. Yeah. So I can't disagree with you on that one. I mean, it might be a good way to close out the show today too, because I can't disagree with that statement, in your opinion on that, because I'm right there with you. On the other stuff, we were a little bit kind of, I was 50% one way and you were the other way, I don't have a problem with people in the public spotlight. I mean, I know you have a problem with people, in the paparazzi and things like that. I just believe that when you become a star, unfortunately, that's the society we live in, and that's the route it goes. Just to recap, and one thing we both do agree on as well is the fact of not making fun of an individual. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Out like if they're working hard in the gym or whatever it might be, whatever it is they're doing. I don't think it's cool to put it up there on the internet and be the creator of it. I just don't. I think
that's shitty. Like the gym should be a safe place that everybody gets to go and work out and try new things and experiment and learn and grow. It should not be a place where you
100%
get made fun of and and any of that type of shit. Like, that shit just needs to go away. And I think those people that do that's why I have no problem with that guy getting what he got, because I think people that do that should get instantly banned from the gym and like kicked out of society. Like, they should just be done. Like, it's like, know what?
I didn't have a problem with him being shamed, you know what I mean? And slung around on social media, but going and calling out his place of employment, getting him fired from his job. He didn't
call him out.
I understand
on his job. Like, he didn't go after what happened is that his boss follows
the individual, right?
And saw the post and then sent it to his boss, and because he got upset, and his boss was like, no, we're not tolerating this as a company. Like, we don't want these type of people in our employment. And that's why he got fired, which would have been no different if he would have done it in front of his boss, and his boss would have fired him on the spot.
Right.
Does that make sense? So I don't have a problem.
I mean, I follow what you're saying. I know what I mean? I know we both are on different sides of the aisle on this one, but I just, for that one, I just felt like it was a little extreme, but the whole other thing, I'm in agreement with you on this show. But anywho, well, listen, guys, we're about out of time for today. We hope you enjoyed the episode of Mike and I's banter going back and forth about this.
Back and forth.
Kind of, well, I mean, we didn't really fight. We just, we don't always have to agree. We can always agree to disagree.
We didn't fight.
So fuck you.
Fought.
So fuck you, Mike.
Fuck
you. Fuck you. You're cool. Fuck you. So anyway,
there's nothing cool about you.
Yeah, there's nothing cool about you either. Go fuck yourself. Anyway, here we go. So don't forget, head over to thedailybm.com where you can follow us on all our socials. You can also go ahead and subscribe over at YouTube and over at Rumble. Don't forget to check out our Instagram, especially. That's where we live most of the time. Also, MasonDangerBeardCO.com. You get 20% off on all things over there for anything you need beard-wise, and also, apparel. But just by simply using the promo code DailyBM. Again, that's 20% off. Mikey, got anything before we get out of here?
No, man. Everybody just have a great day, and hope you get out there and be a better person than you were yesterday. Just try to be kind and, show some grace to people, because everybody's out there trying to do their best. Well, most people are, I hope.
Yeah, don't fuck with people.
We're in fucking trouble.
Not cool. Encourage. Don't discourage. Encourage. Encourage. Yeah. All right? So with that, we'll catch you guys on the flip side, and we'll see you at the next one.
See you.
Deuces.